Bro cards, bro cards, bro cards, bro cards. Welcome to another episode of the People's Card Podcast. Bro cards. I'm Mook at MookBets on Twitter. Joined by the one and only, the kid, Philly Cards 25. My brother Ryan. Say what's good, Ryan.
What's good, guys? Hope everybody's doing well.
Yes, sir. We're doing great, and we got another a sharp in the Zoom call tonight. The one, the only, the leader in the locker room, the only QB1. What's going on, QB?
What's up? It's great to be back on the People's Pod. I feel like I'm a man of the people now, so it's exciting and happy to be here.
Yes, sir. We are the People's Card Podcast. We already did a total of 3 giveaways in 2 weeks of launching episodes. We did the Harper giveaway. Shout out at Bubba Fetts on Twitter. Sent that to you today. We did the Embiid giveaway. That was a Ryan thing over there. He sent that out, and we also did a Super Bowl giveaway on Twitter. Me and another account on Twitter. So we're just giving away cards over here, giving away some fire heat. But a little catch up here, a little bro cards catch up. Ryan, you were just in Tampa, not for the Super Bowl, but for a card show. How was that, dude?
It was honestly electric. The atmosphere in Tampa was absurd because obviously the Super Bowl was going on, and there was a ton of famous people in Tampa for the Super Bowl, obviously. And the card show was absolutely amazing. But to start off my week, I literally flew into Tampa on Friday, and I was staying with my buddy Var. At Var on Instagram and at Santiago_sports. And as soon as I got off my flight, I was planning to link up with my boy Var, and he texted me and he said, "Pull up to Julio Rodriguez's crib," and he's the number 5 MLB prospect right now.
Damn.
I mean, I had one of his cards a few years back and ended up selling it, but he invited me over. I came to his crib, and right away, this guy treated me like family. He was like the nicest, most laid back person I've ever met. He handled himself like an absolute professional. We hung out with him. He took us to the batting cage. He
How
just
old's this
treated us.
dude?
He's 20 years old,
Damn.
but he carries himself like a professional. And just watching him swing and hang out with him all day, I mean, that's some guy that I want to invest in for the future, and I ended up picking a big autograph of him after meeting him. So
So you
it,
met him. It's kind of like insider trading. You're like, all right, this dude's legit. You heard the ball come off the bat while he was taking BP, and you were like, all right, I'm in.
well, and I quote, I was like, I asked him about his sports cards. I was like, should I buy in? And he literally said, and I quote, buy in before it's too late. So right after I heard that, we were showing him like what his sports cards were selling for and stuff, and it was just dope. But even at the card show in Tampa, I didn't do like too many deals, but I did move a decent amount of singles. But Steve Aoki actually pulled up to the card show on Saturday, and also Cleveland Indians pitcher Tristan McKenzie, who I actually got to spend some time with too, who's also buddies with Var. So shout out to my guy Var for hooking me up and putting me on to some of these guys. And it was just awesome to hang out with them. They're really laid back. Tristan's super cool. Julio's super cool. Steve Aoki just chills with his posse. I didn't really get to have a word with him or anything. I'm not really too interested in that. But yeah, the
Uh,
athletes were dope. I was absolutely blown away.
So you had Steve Aoki, the DJ, roll through the show. You had the number 5 prospect, Jesus, in baseball, just chilling. You were just chilling with him. That's pretty sick. And then Tristan McKenzie, he's a pitcher for the Indians, correct?
Yeah, he had a really good debut season last year. Super, super, super humble kid. He came with his mom and his dad, and just right away I could tell he was a good person, good dude. And he actually ended up picking some stuff. I think of some of his teammates and stuff. So just a super awesome guy all around. And I was just really impressed with both Julio and Tristan.
Nice. And so you got to see all your, the whole card community on Instagram. It seems like you have a nice posse over there. When's the next show? When's the next one
Um,
you're going to?
Next show is in Dallas, March 12th through the 14th. It's going to be a huge show. I'll be set up with my guy at LJK Cards and at Lit Sports Cards on Instagram. Two of my good buddies that I've known for a few years now. I like setting up with them. They have some sick cards, and it's cool to set up with your friends and grind with people that want to see you succeed. So it's all about who you surround yourself in this game. Everybody makes each other better. So it's dope. I can't wait for the next show.
Damn, dude, you got me hyped up over here. Got me hyped up, ready to make some money. Also, uh, QB, wanted to touch on you a little bit, get an update from you. You had some Pokemon cards that you found in your house, just like every other dude in the world has Pokemon cards lying around somewhere. What'd you do with them, and are they valuable?
Yeah, so I did the classic basement clean. I was cleaning up all my old shit and came across a binder, had a Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Pretty exciting. I thought I was about to be a millionaire. Turns out I'm not. One, because the condition of my cards are horrendous, but Mookie actually got me in contact with a Pokemon expert,
I'm the plug.
and he gave me a thorough analysis of what's good with my cards. So I can maybe get like a couple $100. So that's pretty exciting stuff. I have to get them graded, but that's gonna be a monthly process. And for all I know, these cards are gonna get graded at like a 3, or if they even go that low. So we'll see.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Exciting stuff.
That's pretty sweet, though. You just look through your basement, you find an old binder that you haven't picked up in years, and even though the cards are beat to shit, ultimately, like you might have a nice little payday.
And take that few hundred and maybe invest in a card or something and just keep it growing from there. So there you go. There's your startup money for
Exactly.
your collection.
We call that a like kind exchange in the accounting world.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
I didn't go to college, so
I logged off of work today, QB. I'm done with the accounting talk,
I'm always logged in, mentally, physically, emotionally.
and that's why you're QB1. So let's talk about some card news. Super Bowl just happened. Really shitty game, honestly. Like I was disappointed. It was boring. Um, Mahomes couldn't get anything going. Tampa Bay's defense was good, but Ryan, what was the biggest thing you saw that happened to the card market as a result of that game?
so I actually disagree. Probably because I'm a huge Tom Brady fan, but I just like witnessing greatness. So watching him win another Super Bowl was dope for me, but I could see how it could be boring for other people. But at this point, I think it should be a well-known thing that Tom Brady is probably the greatest athlete of all time, barring some people. I mean, you can look at some individual sports like Serena Williams or Michael Phelps. But when it comes to team sports, I mean, there's only a few guys you think of at this point. It's like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. You can throw LeBron in there if you want. But personally, I'm a Michael Jordan guy. But what we're seeing right now is new highs in the Tom Brady market. And I think it's going to go similar to, sadly, when Kobe passed, his market was just hitting all-time highs and stuff was getting snapped off of eBay and bought like it was nothing. But I actually think like 6 to 12 months from now, you're gonna see the biggest peak in Tom Brady sports cards. I think that he's the safest buy in all of sports right now. I mean, he's an international name. Everybody knows who he is. He's got 7 rings. That's more than any franchise ever. He just won without Bill Belichick. So all that system quarterback nonsense goes out the window. Even though his defense obviously looked amazing and he's got really good offensive weapons, his offensive line really was not that great this year. But I think that Brady just makes everybody around him better. So like I said, Brady stuff is reaching an all-time high right now. If anything, I'm just more mad at myself that I didn't pick up more at the time because I think that he'll eventually catch up to some of like LeBron's prices and Jordan.
Interesting. So,
So
so when you say Brady's the safest investment, but also very expensive, like, what's the um and QB? I'm blanking on the finance accounting term to get into the market. It's something barrier, but what's like the lowest investment on Brady that you can go right now? Like, how much money do you have to put into Brady to like ultimately have a sound investment in him?
I never want to tell like people what to buy or who to invest in because I'm just not interested in like pumping cards up or telling people what to buy. But if you just, I mean, some of Brady's rookie stuff is becoming untouchable right now. But if you look at like the refractors and the numbered stuff and just the veteran PSA 10 stuff compared to like you can compare it to LeBron James because they're the best at their sport. And I think that there's just a lot of room to catch up with Tom Brady. I mean, you don't even need to watch football or know what football is to recognize Tom Brady's name. It's just name recognition right off the bat. I mean, he's a global superstar at this point. He's a good dude, family dude, and that matters when you're investing in somebody. Honestly, you're
So,
investing in their brand.
so you were posting. I saw your Instagram today. You were posting like some last solds of Brady. Like I was seeing prices for 250, but I was also seeing prices for 25K. So you can get in on Brady at like $300.
Like, what card exactly? That's very broad.
I was just looking at your Instagram, but like in general, right? Like there are still some like less, expensive Brady stuff that's worth buying.
Yeah, I think that some of like the 20, I don't know, like probably like from like 2012 to like 2018, there's a lot of value and room in some of the color and numbered stuff. So I would just be looking at like Topps Chrome refractors, Prism color, Select color, and refractors and stuff like that. I mean, just over time, I just see that stuff growing so much.
Gotcha.
If it was
Gotcha.
LeBron James, I mean, it would probably be like 5x what it's worth now of Brady. So I just think there's a lot of room to catch up.
Interesting. Interesting. And when you say catch up, I mean that's something we're going to talk about later, but when it comes to the card market, there's no set price, but when you're comparing two players, there's obviously a margin between the two guys, and if you think that the lower guy on the margin can make up some ground on the highest guy, that's value ultimately to chase. So,
And also, let's touch on the Patrick Mahomes market. What will happen to him after the Super Bowl?
yeah.
Honestly, I saw some people selling after the Super Bowl, and I just think that's the dumbest thing. You might see like a price dip for like the first few weeks or the first month, but let's be realistic. He's still a top quarterback in the league. He's still young as hell. He's got plenty of more time to win a bunch of Super Bowls, in my opinion. And I don't think his market will honestly take a hit at all.
to
If anything, by August, it'll just be right back up. And he's, like I said, you got to invest in like brands or whatever. He's seems like a really good guy on and off the field. I mean, he can throw the ball like nobody I've ever seen. And I still think he's a good buy moving forward, even though he is very expensive.
two things. Patrick Mahomes is 1 year older than I am, which is just a disgusting sentence to ever say. And two,
$500 million richer than you two.
thanks. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that one. And number two, Jackson Mahomes sucks. I think if you factor out Jackson Mahomes in the Patrick Mahomes market, maybe his cards sell more because people hate Jackson Mahomes. I hate Jackson Mahomes.
You're obsessed with Jackson Mahomes.
No,
Yeah.
I am not obsessed with Jackson Mahomes. I literally tweeted about him one time.
Dude, you're obsessed.
I feel like you bring him up. I personally just don't care. Like he could do whatever he wants. Like I
mean,
just feel
dude,
like you're getting so heated about this guy doing like a TikTok dance. Like
he's
relax.
just
Like,
he's
let
just
the guy.
leeching. His brother's the best athlete, one of the best athletes in the world. This guy's just dancing on the sidelines,
Yeah,
becoming a viral sensation.
Obviously he's riding Patrick's coattails, but I mean, I wouldn't even concern myself with that dude. He was just a turd at this point. I don't
Yeah,
even
so you don't like him either. It's a turd. All right.
it's not that I don't like him, I just don't even pay any attention to him,
Yeah,
just like Joe.
exactly.
All right. Whatever.
Luke, you were riding my coattails for a while too. So like,
And
you
now
were lucky.
now I'm riding my
TikTok wasn't
brothers.
around. You're lucky TikTok wasn't around back in the day.
True.
You'd be Corvetting all over the place.
I'd be doing the dab on the sideline when you come off the sideline all pissed off, and then you'd like push me over.
I don't think I've ever touched you like that, so I don't know what you're saying.
Okay. And then last, like card news. Ryan, you brought this up before we got on, but Vegas Dave.
Yeah, so it's Vegas Dave on Instagram is predicting that the card market will crash by 2024.
Suck a piece, Dave.
Yeah, so I mean, he just went on a huge rant. He went on his Instagram and started burning like $20,000 cards. He was just lighting them on fire. Like he didn't care at all. And this is the same dude that a few years back bought the Mike Trout 101 Superfractor for 400,000 and flipped it this year for close to $5 million. So now he's talking crap about the card industry.
God.
But let's be honest, this dude has been wrong about stuff before in the past. I mean, before the season, he was telling everybody and their mother to invest in Derek Carr cards, and I'm pretty sure he's invested close to $1 million on his cards. So that is absolutely shot. And I mean, I even hear some people that listen to his picks, and I saw an Instagram post like before the playoffs even started that you should be betting on the Saints to win the Super Bowl.
Oh,
And he also
his
took the
gambling,
Chiefs in
Ryan.
the Super Bowl. His
Yeah.
gambling picks are absolutely
He'll
garbage.
tell you to put like 50,000 units on a minus 800 favorite, and like he'll act like he's the best gambler in the world. Like Vegas Dave's a joke. He's a 4'8" little guy with a lot of money and a big mouth. So I don't trust
Yeah,
anything he says.
I feel like he's just doing it for clicks. Like that's a great just engagement tweet or whatever, Instagram, whatever he posted on.
Yeah, we're
Just to be
talking about
like,
him right now.
He's
'cause
trying
it's
to
just
be
like,
controversial, just like
yeah,
anybody that's
it's just
trying. He's just trying to get hype out here. I mean, nobody really cares about him. He's just a walking chode at this point.
He's a little dude. He's an Oompa Loompa, freaking turkey link sausage looking asshole. I do not like Vegas Dave. But yeah, I think that's it for the catch up here. So Ryan's back from Tampa, looking a little tan, fresh off some deals, meeting some big athletes. There's some card news, and we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast here. Um, I wasn't sure what to exactly call, you know, what we're going to talk about. It's basically the when, who, and what to buy / identifying value in cards. We're going to give a brief overview of basically, at what times in the year you should be buying, what the markets look like, essentially, and other stuff like that. So, Ryan, the first thing I wanted to touch on is, there's three major card sports with, some minor sports popping up like UFC, and whatever. But let's talk about the cyclical nature of cards, right? So the football season obviously is played in the fall, basketball winter, baseball summer into fall. So give me a brief overview of when football cards pop, when they die. What are you thinking?
So football cards are usually the hottest in August, when people are just getting ready for the season. And I would say the best time to buy football is usually in the winter. Usually after the playoffs and some teams get eliminated is when I start looking at football cards because people are looking at like baseball and basketball at that time. And I never really go with the hype or the trends in the market. I usually try and buy away from that. So I always think about buying the dips. So after basketball season or basketball playoffs, maybe if a team didn't make the playoffs and you think that they're going to have a good year next year, during the playoffs might be the best time to buy teams that are eliminated. And obviously, if a player just wins a championship or something, it's not the greatest time to buy something, but there are definitely factors in that where you can find good deals and good purchases.
So essentially, right, you're talking about the off season. So, for example, like you said, winter for football. So like right now, obviously the Brady market's exploding, but like someone like a quarterback like Joe Burrow, or I know I've talked about Joe Burrow 100 times already, but basically guys that didn't get the playoff hype. People are more focused on basketball and baseball right now. So like right now would be a good time to buy in football, and then you're saying in August is when like peak hype will be essentially for the year. So if you're not even looking for a long-term hold, you're kind of looking just to treat these cards like stocks. Now might be the time to buy football and then just flip them in August and take your money.
Yeah, or I mean, I like hedging or just putting a bet on like some players. Like I usually like the second year quarterbacks. I think there's room to buy in on them. So I would start looking at guys like Herbert, Burrow, Jalen Hurts isn't a bad call. I mean, I don't like to, like I said, I don't like to tell people who to buy, but usually a second year quarterback goes off every single year. So it's all about investing in the right guy. At the right time. But if you're willing to gamble, I mean, if say Justin Herbert throws 4 touchdowns in week 1 next year, his cards are going to go up and go crazy probably. Just like when Wentz was in his second year in 2017, his cards started going crazy. In 2018, Patrick Mahomes was in his second year. His cards went absolutely
Interesting.
absurd after that. So there's usually a trend to follow. In 2019, there really wasn't like anybody crazy. I would say that Kyler Murray was getting a bunch of hype, but he kind of cooled off towards the end of the year. So this year, I'm still trying to figure out who I like. I'm an Eagles homer. I've been buying up Jalen Hurts stuff since probably like September, August. So I like Jalen Hurts just personally. Like I said, I'm an Eagles fan. I set up at card shows in Philly, so it's just an easy move. Jalen
So
Hurts stuff.
let's touch on the Eagles quarterback situation, right? So two quarterbacks there. We got Hurts and Wentz. Wentz is going to get traded. So essentially, right, those are two starting quarterbacks. If you own both of them right now, your card should pop off. So what do you think like happens if Wentz goes to Indianapolis or Chicago? Will his cards automatically take off?
So Wentz's cards took a huge hit this year, and I know a lot of people that were buying the dip on Wentz because they thought he was going to get traded or eventually rebound. But I really think that if he goes to the Colts, especially, they have a pretty decent market and a good football team around him. Is if he does go there. I mean, the last time that Carson Wentz was with Frank Reich, we all saw
Yep.
what happened. It was the 2017 season. His should have been MVP season. So I can't wait to see what happens. I think that Wentz stuff will definitely go up, but at this point, he still needs to perform for it to reach the next ceiling. And if Wentz does get traded, you'll see a huge spike in Jalen Hurts cards in the coming weeks.
So Hertz will go up automatically. Wentz should uptick a little bit, right? If he goes to, I think Indy, just because he'll get to the playoffs. I mean, it's like an ideal situation. I think. I think the hype alone will drive that market up.
And he's
Um,
kind of in a weak division. I take that back. Tennessee's a good squad. The Texans, if they trade Watson, are absolute
they'll
dog
be
water.
cooked. Yeah,
And then Jacksonville, I don't see them really winning any. They might have Trevor Lawrence, so they might have a good season next year. But I think that team is kind of in a rebuilding stage right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts and the Titans next year hashed it out to see who won the division.
true. And then let's touch on the margins in the second year quarterbacks, right? So right now, Herbert is the top seller, highest card for the second year quarterbacks. So you're saying, you can buy Hertz right now, a base card of Hertz for like 60, $70 Prism. All of Herbert's go for a
They're
hundred
probably
plus.
like $50 right now, the Hertz.
The Hertz are probably 50. The Herberts go, I was looking, the Raws go for like 150, so almost double. But the Herbert graded tens go for like $1,400, right?
Yeah, so that's one thing to pay attention to. You shouldn't be buying Herbert PSA 10 Prisms right now because Prism is a new product and it just came out like pretty recently. So not a lot of Herbert cards have been graded yet. So when a new product comes out, usually wait like 6 to 12 months to buy PSA graded stuff. But if you're trying to make some money, buy the cards raw right upon release, and then you can see a profit. Like realistically, that Herbert card will probably be like, I mean, a Kyler Murray Prism PSA 10 sells for like $400. There's no reason why Herbert should be selling a thousand
So the
dollars
Herbert
more than.
hype you're saying right now could be a little inflated for
So
sure.
especially with Deshaun Watson Prism PSA 10s only hovering around like 1100 right now. I mean, Deshaun Watson's an absolute stud, and I think that Herbert's going to be a stud too. But um, there's probably in the pop report, which means how many total graded PSA 10s of Herbert. It's probably less than like 200 right now. And realistically, the amount of Prism retail and Prism in general that hit the shelves at Target, Walmart, and card shops,
Yep.
there's going to be thousands of graded ones. So the demand's not going to be as big, especially with the supply going up and up. So now's not a great time to buy the Herbert PSA 10 graded stuff, but maybe start looking at the raw graded stuff. And the way you target raw graded stuff on eBay, especially, is you got to look at the centering of the card, make sure both sides are kind of like equal. And the centering this year in Prism's pretty tough. Make sure you look at the back two corners, especially the bottom two. They're they're very sensitive this year, and they usually have a little bit of damage on the back. But you can't really control when you get like a card off eBay and it's not in the best condition ever. But like I said, if you buy a raw Herbert on eBay for $150 and you send it's a PSA for like $50, you get it back in a month. Maybe it could turn into like an $800 or $900 card if it gems. And I still think it's a few $100s as a PSA 9. So I think there's definitely still room to be buying raw Prism stuff from this year.
Got it. Got it. So let's touch on basketball real quick. That was a lot about football. The basketball market right now, what are you seeing? When's it going to surge? Does it surge around the All-Star break? I know it surges around the playoffs.
So playoffs will be peak, definitely. But for this year, they're not really releasing too many products due to coronavirus. The season was kind of delayed, so not a lot of products are coming out this year. But I expect the market to get the hottest in playoff times. Who you think's going to win a championship or make a big playoff run? So you can base your bets around that, or you can start looking at some of the rookies or younger players that you think have good potential. But how you evaluate a player is the market really matters. So, like, if it's a big market like the New York Knicks, the stuff's going to outsell something from a guy on the Memphis Grizzlies. And how I invest in a player is how you would normally approach a stock. How are they like off the court? Are they likable? Do they have a good social media presence? On the court, how do they play? Do they play through the whistle? Do
Do
they
they have a
play?
hot girlfriend that's a celebrity?
No, that does not matter. Um, Damn, you just
Morning
lost
movie
my
is
train
the
of thought.
best movie.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no.
gosh.
Sorry, I threw you off. I threw you off.
Damn,
But
you just killed it.
keep going.
But like I said, the market definitely matters. So if you're like on the Los Angeles Lakers, your cards are automatically going to shoot up if you get it traded there. But like I said, like a dude in Memphis isn't going to sell as well as a guy on the New York Knicks. The market, like the how big the team market matters. So definitely look at that before you start buying a player.
Got it. So, the two biggest things, right, for any card, not just basketball, performance, right? So, for example, a veteran guy. I remember you were targeting Tim Duncan almost a year ago because, he's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame soon, right? So, like, factors like that are important. A rookie surging, his cards will shoot up. So, like you said, investing in younger players in basketball because they come into the league at 18, 19 years old. You never know when they're going to pop off.
Yeah,
Um,
so when a rookie's surging, usually there's usually like a 2 or 3 year period when their cards will kind of go crazy, and you can kind of tell the potential of the player from them. Like Donovan Mitchell was one of the most expensive players in 2017 when he was a rookie, but it's like a 2 3 year window where he's realistically not going to win anytime soon, in my opinion at least. And championship potential really matters at a certain point. So I think that when you're looking at buying a player, make sure that their team's good. They have a potential at winning. They're a big market, but there's definitely room to flip rookies and stuff like that.
got it. Are there any like other hype examples? So you talked about off the court. Like, is there anything, like if a player, I mentioned the hot girlfriend, you didn't like it because I threw off your rhythm. Sorry about that. But does like a player dating Kim Kardashian matter? Does a player blowing up on Instagram, like even Kyrie Irving dishing out wild takes, does that matter?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that the thought around the card community and around the league in general is that like Kyrie was a little like off his wall, and especially after the James Harden trade, I think that his stock kind of went down after that, because he's got to be the third wheel at this point. I think that Harden and Durant are going to take the team the furthest, but obviously they need Kyrie to step in and put up some points. But yeah, the way that he handled himself on social media, I'm actually like a Kyrie fan, but I think it rubbed some people the wrong way. So his cards definitely still sell well, but not as good as they should. And an example like that is when Matisse Thybulle was vlogging during the NBA bubble. He's a very likable person, and he was a rookie at the time, so his cards actually saw a bump in the market, but he's not even really getting any playing time this year, so it doesn't really matter. But he does sell well compared to what he does.
True. True, true, true. That makes sense. And you're just spitting knowledge over there, just coming out of your brains, flowing. Way to
Yes,
be.
sir.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to get through in identifying value. Do you have any other tips or tricks for people to look out for that like, that you still have on your mind that you didn't touch on?
Honestly, I can't think of anything off the top, but one thing to look at, like I said, that Tim Duncan, when a guy's about to get inducted to a Hall of Fame, or
Yep.
maybe a documentary is about to come out about a certain player, or like if they have like a big social media following, that really does matter. Because and especially I always think about like when I go to a card show or something, pay attention to like what jerseys people are wearing. Especially like kids and obviously adults too, but not too many adults wear jerseys anymore. But I mean, like every
I still
kid
do.
has like a Stephen Curry jersey, and every kid has a Trey Young jersey. So just like likable people like that, they're like a brand name. People like them. There's not really any negatives to them. So obviously, when you're in basketball, offensive players sell the best. You're not gonna get a defensive specialist that's gonna outsell somebody. So like, even though Trey Young doesn't play any defense or not too much defense, he's still gonna outsell anybody that's a top defender in the league.
Got it. Got it. Got it. That's all good
Yeah,
stuff right there. Hope you have your notepads out because there's some
I'll
facts. being-
I'll FaceTime Mookie during the day, and this guy's just rocking like a Charles Barkley Phoenix Suns jersey. Yeah. I'm just like, what are you doing, man? Like it's 1 p.m. Like, why are you rocking a jersey right now?
There's nothing more freeing than just wearing a jersey in the middle of the day when you're not supposed to. I love it. People tell me I'm like a little kid, but maybe I am. I don't know.
Do you hop on team like meetings with like your jerseys on?
I
Or
have hopped on one work meeting in the Barkley jersey, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I was just feeling it today. Work from home's got me all messed up, man. You just gotta let it happen.
I love it. I respect it actually.
Game day fits.
Game day. So, bros, we have some questions and answers in the QB huddle from QB, the only QB one, our leader, our guy in the locker room, and then we also have questions from my guy, Bookie's basement guy, an animal at capping college basketball and NBA, Andrew Locks at Andrew Lock _12 on Twitter. Kid's buzzing. Um, so he's going to come on. We have QB1 on to ask questions, and we also have listener questions from the new voicemail. If you haven't seen the voicemail on Twitter, you're clearly not following us, but we have a voicemail box where you can, send questions, roast me, spit whatever's on your mind, and, call Ryan a nerd, whatever you want to do. The number for that is 856-347-0950. So the idea here, right, is we're going to leave the podcast here, end at around 30 minutes, which is a sweet spot. And then Friday is going to be a mailbag episode with Andy's questions, QB's questions, and the listener questions on the voicemail. So look out for that drop on Friday. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, bros. Feel free to hit us up with any questions you ever have. And thanks again. See you guys Friday.